You claim lineage to a vampire important to the Anarch Revolt of the 14th and 15th centuries. Or perhaps you possess records chronicling the fall of tyrannical princes or the rise of upstart barons. You know the time and place Tyler murdered Hardestet the Elder, and the participants in the diablerie of the Tzimisce Antediluvian. Maybe you've even spoken to Lugos or Lambach, two of the fiends present during the incident. Your knowledge of the Anarch Revolt is such that you can see the waves and eddies of time repeating itself in the Society of the Damned tonight. You recognize the exact same crimes of the past repeated now, and can predict and perhaps control the way the young will rise up and smash the old. Greetings, Kindred. I am Voivode Maquette, and welcome back to our World of Darkness and another Metaplot Monday, where today we're going to be going over the last lore sheet in the Anarch book. At least mine, anyway. I've said this repeatedly. I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing about it. But my books aren't exactly the same as a lot of people's books because I bought first printings. So I got a handful of PDFs sent to me of things that were added to the books after I got mine. But I'm excited about this because I'm done with this book, which means I can move on to like Chicago by Night or Chronicles of the Blood Gods or something like that. And I don't know. I feel a little bit accomplished whenever I get to the end of one of these. As you can see, my camera is up and going again. I have to say thank you to Serendipity for fixing that for me because I am just... I don't know. I've said this before. I'm operating off of a technology skill of 1 or a half of 1. So I'm very glad that she's back in town and helping me on getting that stuff back together. But today we're going to talk about the Anarch Revolt lore sheet. And as far as lore sheets go, this is probably one of the most important lore sheets politically in V5, because V5 is all about the amnesty and the convoluted relationship between the Anarchs and the Camarilla, and how these two attempting to act humane factions, or at least attempting to appear to act humane factions, clash so violently. One wanting freedom and the other one wanting control of the situation. So you can see why this one would be so important, because this talks about what happened last time. Because the Anarch Revolt, as it is now, this new wave, started in 2012 due to the death of Hardestet at the hands of Theo Bell, and bringing the Brujah and the Gangrel into the Anarchs firmly, instead of just being a mentality of, oh, they're Brujah, they're Anarchs. You know, now for the most part that's true. And I think that it's brought the World of Darkness into a new era where the stereotype of the old is the truth of the now. Investing 1 trait into this lore sheet gets you Critical Ancestor. Vampires largely of clans Brujah, Banu Hakim, and La Sombra led the Anarch Revolt across Europe. The power-hungry Tzimisce taking part to eliminate the greatest monsters in their own clan. However, Anarchs rose from all clans. As most elders manipulated their young to disastrous ends, you can name one of your ancestors as critical to the Anarch Revolt, either as an instigator, a chronicler, or an opponent. Your ties to this ancestor give you credibility in discussions regarding the revolt, and a passion for its analysis. Gain a point of Anarch status as well as the suspect Camarilla flaw, or vice versa. When you take Critical Ancestor, this means that you've got an ancestor that was either a fighting member of the Anarch Revolt, someone who was keeping tabs on what was going on, very much like a Beckett-style character, or you have an ancestor who was a an instigator, like a prince, or I guess that would actually be an opponent, which would be a prince, depending on which side of the lines you sit on. You could easily take Anarch Revolt level 1 as a Camarilla or as an Anarch. And you could say that this ancestor of yours was a Camarilla or an Anarch. And that your ancestor was either taken down or risen up in power, given that. And this is going to make you hated by the other faction. I think this is a good way to make you into a target. Because, like I said, it makes you suspect. This is going to be the kind of thing where young Anarch gangs are going to want to make a message out of you, make an example out of you, and those in the Camarilla are going to want to do the same, so they don't think that you are going to do the same thing that your ancestor did. I don't know. I think there's a lot of possibilities when it comes to this one because it's not limited to one or the other. Investing 2 traits into this lore sheet gets you Speak the Words. The Anarch Revolt was driven more by words and energy than flashing blades and spilling blood, at least at first. You possess the same ambition as the Anarchs of the past and can accurately pinpoint where oppression occurs and where revolt is necessary. When vampires listen to you, they feel more inclined to seize power from their masters. Add 2 dice to social tests involving the instigation of Anarch activism. So this one right here is obviously something that you're going to want to take on the straight out Anarch level because it talks about overthrowing those who are taking advantage of the power, so the Camarilla. But being able to be 2 traits up in social challenges to turn neonates against their sires, possibly turn ghouls against their regnants. That is something that can come in that can come in handy because it's true. You're not just car bombing and setting fires to an Elysium as an Anarch. There are those who are going to make more of an impact with the spoken word than anything else. It does come in mind of individuals who have been noted to be red list style individuals who are just talking, spreading propaganda about the opposing faction. Investing 3 traits into this lore sheet gets you Enemy of the Establishment. You consider yourself an old Anarch, not necessarily in age, but by ethos. The new Anarch movement has its strength, but also many weaknesses. Your views put you in direct opposition of the Camarilla and its Victorian methods of subjugation. The Camarilla has marked you as an enemy, which only draws more listless Anarchs to your banner. You gain the equivalent of a 4-dot mala, representing your comrades among the Anarchs, as well as a 1-dot adversary, representing someone tasked with keeping tabs on you, and, if necessary, bring you down. This one right here, this Enemy of the Establishment one, I think is so far on this lore sheet my favorite. I do like the way that it's put out there because you gain the 4-dot mala, first off, but it's not one individual. You don't have one elder vampire who's telling you how to do things, how to accomplish things. It's more of an Anarch tribunal or a council of individuals who could be very well on the same level as you and not above you, but have expertise in other things. These are individuals who can teach you how to succeed in ways that you don't personally know how, but it's not, like I said, limited to one person. And I really like the fact that it can represent experienced Anarchs who are willing to give you a helping hand instead of just one big daddy vampire. And the idea that it also comes with a 1-dot adversary shows me that the Camarilla in this point is willing to go and hire a low-level operative to just keep an eye on you and kill you if possible. But it's going to be a weak neonate who does not know exactly what they're doing, and they're just trying to they're just trying to prove themselves at that point. This is building up such a social story in my mind, just reading the way that it's written. Investing 4 traits into this lore sheet gets you Icon. You have taken the name of one of the Anarch Revolt's original participants and act as the vampire's successor. This would be disrespectful if you had not performed many of the same actions as your forebears. Many Anarchs see you as the next great leader of the revolt, whether or not that is your intent. You may have seized a historic identity for the cult status and easy access to herd, but now the sect puts increasing pressure on you to act in their interest. Gain 2 dots of status, 2 dots of herd, and 2 dots of resources for as long as you put the Anarch cause before anything else. Any misstep, and they are lost until you redeem yourself. Icon is so interesting. It's the idea of important historical names being passed down to the next individual. And it doesn't even say that the icon is dead. But like, look at Tyler. Look at Patricia Bolenbrook, also known as Tyler. She took the name who was her human lover before her embrace. She gets embraced. She tear asses around Europe. She causes a whole bunch of problems. She caused a whole bunch of problems in Chicago when the Americas and everything were founded and set up. And now she's pretty much just disappeared. Now, it is suspected that she has run off with Theo Bell, and they're doing their thing and organizing whatever major anarchs they need to. But the idea that you could take Tyler's name, or take Jeremy McNeil's name, or start claiming Nine Rodriguez's name or something like that, to be able to choose an epitaph, to give yourself more self-respect, to get yourself respected among the masses, it's very interesting, because I know that kind of thing happens in real life, in gang warfare, and even in small non-incorporated military groups. Investing 5 traits into this lore sheet gets you Ignite the Revolt. The time has come. You know how the Anarch Revolt took place half a millennium ago, and now how it needs to take place tonight. You know the weakness of your city, the greatest threats, and the Camarilla position direly in need of removal. You can threaten your enemies with the prospect of war for extortion purposes, or to prevent the Camarilla taking more liberties with the Anarchs than they already have. Once per story, you can use this leverage to gain 4 die in any social conflict against a member of the Camarilla establishment. If you fail the roll, you either need to make good on your threat or lose this advantage permanently. This is a big one, and it's interesting because it's a big one on a small scale. You know the weaknesses. You know how to talk the talk. And at this point, you are able to go up to individuals who are of Camarilla standing and use that knowledge to threaten to get what you want. Maybe that's getting the Camarilla to leave certain anarchs alone. Maybe that's stopping them from investing in property that the anarchs already have ties onto. There's a lot of these things. You could take it even further, trying to get them out of the city completely, but you're probably going to have to deal with a lot more than you could possibly handle as an individual character. But being able to cause them that much trouble, understanding who has information about themselves out there that nobody wants to have. This is blackmail information. And the fact that you can use this to gain 4 dice in a social conflict to threaten and manipulate and to get what your outcome is, what you want it to be, is pretty intense. That's pretty good. I cannot deny that whatsoever. But the fact is, if you lose it and they're not threatened by you, you're either going to have to pull through and actually do what you're threatening to do. This is something not for the faint of heart, and I kind of enjoy that. especially since this is if you don't do it, you can lose the benefits. And I understand once per story doesn't sound like much, but it's a game-changing situation where you're changing it to your favor. You're turning the tables in a way that you find fit for yourself and for your sect. But that is the Anarch Revolt. That's everything in the Anarch book, actually, and I'm very, very excited to be done with this one so we can move on to something else. I might take a break from the lore sheets, maybe do a couple TLDRs. I'm up for taking requests if anybody has anything specific they want to talk about or anything like that. But yeah, no, there's just a lot going on right now. We're approaching our 1,000 people. Right now we are at 969 subscribers, and yeah, we're still trying to figure out what the details are going to be on for the celebration of the 1,000 and all that. But we're definitely going to do something. But I am Voivode Maquette. This is Our World of Darkness, and thank you for joining me on this Metaplot Monday, where we have gone over the Anarch Revolt lore sheet for Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. Thank you for joining me. Good evening.